Over the span of several years, filmmakers solved such problems. Sometimes they influenced each other, while at other times, two filmmakers might happen on the same technique. Some devices were tried and abandoned. By 1917, filmmakers had worked out a system of formal principles that were standard in American filmmaking. That system has come to be called the classical Hollywood cinema. Despite this name, many of the basic principles of the system were being worked out before filmmaking was centered in Hollywood, and indeed, many of those principles were first tried in other countries. In the years before World War I, film style was still largely international, since films circulated widely outside their countries of origin. The basic problem that confronted filmmakers early in the Nickelodeon era was that audiences could not understand the causal, spatial, and temporal relations in many films. If the editing abruptly changed locales, the spectator might not grasp where the new action was occurring. An actor's elaborate pantomime might fail to convey the meaning of a crucial action. A review of a 1906 Edison film lays out the problem. In a few theaters, a lecturer might explain the plot as the film unrolled, but producers could not rely on such aids. Filmmakers came to assume that a film should guide the spectator's attention, making every aspect of the story on the screen as clear as possible. In particular, films increasingly set up a chain of narrative causes and effects. One event would plainly lead to an effect, which would in turn cause another effect, and so on. Moreover, an event was typically caused by a character's belief or desires. Character psychology had not been particularly important in early films. Slapstick chases or brief melodramas depended more on physical action or familiar situations than on character traits. Increasingly after 1907, however, character psychology motivated actions. By following a series of characters' goals and resulting conflicts, the spectator could comprehend the action. Every aspect of silent film style came to be used to enhance narrative clarity. Staging in depth could show the spatial relationships among elements. Intertitles could add narrative information beyond what the images conveyed. Closer views of the actors could suggest their emotions more precisely. Color, set design, and lighting could imply time of day, the milieu of the action, and so on. Some of the most important innovations of this period involve the ways in which shots were put together to create a story. In one sense, editing was a boon to the filmmaker, permitting instant movement from one space to another, or cuts to closer views to reveal details. But if the spectator could not keep track of the temporal and spatial relations between one shot and the next, editing might lead to confusion. In some cases, intertitles could help establish new locations. Editing also came to emphasize continuity among shots. Certain cues indicated that time was flowing uninterruptedly across cuts. Between scenes, other cues might suggest how time had been skipped over. When a cut moved from one space to another, the director found ways to orient the viewer.